This is Akashavani Mangaluru. Dear listeners, in today's Talk in English program now, Shri V. Mohan Rao will speak on the topic Indian Rural Economy at Crossroads.
The Indian agrarian economy is a cornerstone of our country's socio-economic fabric and provides livelihood to over half of the population, besides contributing significantly to the country's gross domestic product (GDP). As a source of food, raw materials, and employment, agriculture plays a pivotal role in sustaining the rural population and driving economic development. Today, the Indian agrarian economy is characterized by its vast diversity in crops and farming practices consequent to the country's diverse range of climate and soil conditions. The rural economy, with agriculture as the mainstay of the population and more than 50% of the workforce engaged in agriculture, has contributed about 55% of our national income. The advent of technology has brought about a sea change in the rural economy. Digital transactions and internet users have played a vital role in the development of the economy. India is among the world's largest producers of rice, wheat, cotton, and pulses. Despite its impressive production volumes, the sector faces several challenges. The foremost challenge is the acute shortage of labor, which has already affected agricultural activities. The young laborers, male or female, are very difficult to get since they have migrated to urban areas for better opportunities and joined free or paid higher education classes. Middle-aged or old people are available in limited numbers. The elderly are unable to continue their agricultural work due to age-related problems. The exodus of rural people to urban areas has led to the exploit of agricultural labor, widening the gap between the rich and the poor. Over 80% of farmers in India operate on less than 2 hectares of land, which limits their access to modern technology and markets. Though the economy had contributed significantly to the country's GDP, agriculture's share in GDP has been declining, currently standing at around 15 to 17%, reflecting the sector's underperformance compared to other parts of the sectors. Transport plays a vital role in marketing agricultural produce. However, road transport in some rural areas leaves much to be desired. In rural areas where even mud roads are not there, the cost of production of these crops would be very high, and this has resulted in rendering these lands into waste lands. Though irrigation is available by way of canals, these are available only in places where there is access to sources of water such as dams, reservoirs, borewells, and open wells. The Varahi water project in Karnataka is yet to take off fully. Some farmers in parts of the Western Ghats region, with the help of 5 to 10 HP pump sets, irrigate their land directly from sweet backwaters and small water streams and rivers, since power is free for farmers. Though power is free and the cost of production is reduced to that extent, without the provision of support prices from the government, farmers generally find it difficult to make a break-even between production cost and sale proceeds, particularly in the case of paddy and coconut produce. In our country, the existing minimum support price, that is MSP, is heavily attributed to wheat and rice production, and that creates a lopsided incentive structure. On the contrary, despite shortages, pulses and oilseeds often suffer from prices below the MSP. This lacks an effective price support mechanism. In such an event, to reduce the farmers' reliance on monocropping of paddy and wheat and encourage diversification toward other grains, the government must project a supportive environment. This would lead to a dedicated crop diversification policy whereby the farmers can avail themselves of assistance in procuring inputs and be assured of a market for their produce. The government should continue to provide free and continuous power to irrigate their fields and plantations. The government should also ensure uninterrupted provision of quality seeds, chemical fertilizers at subsidized rates, and qualitative agricultural machinery at subsidized rates. The government should also facilitate adequate storage facilities at subsidized rates until such time they get good prices. Community farming and cooperative farming may be encouraged by setting up agro companies with farmers as shareholders. According to SAS data for the year 2018-19, the agricultural income of farmers in rural areas has dwindled. The reason attributed was due to procurement policies. Farmers in rural areas with access to procurement agencies earn a better income than those without such access. This, however, varies from state to state. The Indian government has launched several initiatives aimed at revitalizing the agrarian economy. Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi provides income support to small and marginal farmers, enhancing their financial stability. To protect farmers against crop failure due to natural calamities and pests, the government has provided crop insurance. The Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinyahi Yojana aims at expanding irrigation coverage. Unpredictable monsoon patterns and the exploitation of water resources pose significant risks. In our country, excess rainfall damages the crops and culminates in soil erosion. Soil is considered a crucial carbon sink that is connected to food security and climate service. A shortfall in the monsoon results in acute drought. Natural calamities like droughts and floods have resulted in untold miseries for the farming communities. Despite government reforms for bank loans at reduced interest and rates or waivers of interest payment, the farmers are also facing environmental concerns such as soil degradation, water pollution, and loss of biodiversity. Appropriate technology, precision farming, and sustainable practices offer potential for increased efficiency and lower environmental impact. There is a growing global demand for organic products where India can carve a niche. Agro-processing industries can provide farmers with a higher income and create employment opportunities in rural areas. Agricultural practices have undergone a positive transformation when compared to over a decade ago with the introduction of tractors, tillers, and harvesting machines. This has led to increased profits, leading to a better rural economy. Small businesses ranging from poultry farming, milk production, have all been in good stead for the rural farming community, culminating in offering various opportunities for sustainable livelihoods. More than a decade ago, the rural economy faced challenges in providing adequate educational opportunities to rural people. This was once a major concern, but with the government reforms, education is undergoing a positive transformation, though there have been cases of dropouts among the students. However, by and large, the current youth in villages have recognized the worth of education and its value by getting admitted to educational institutions in nearby towns so as to bridge the knowledge gap for the overall development of rural areas. Some of them visualize potential in diversified farming and other entrepreneurial ventures that will help develop the rural economy and ensure sustainability. Appropriate infrastructure, by and large, houses in rural areas have been provided with electricity and internet connections. Mobile phones have become the gateway to information, connecting villages to urban areas and metros. The central government has also provided good roads in some villages. The central government's reforms have culminated in the provision of various types of agricultural loans and subsidies for agricultural machinery to the extent possible. As regards healthcare, the villages are relying on traditional medicinal knowledge. This has been reinforced by access to information through TV and mobile phones, which has empowered rural people to make choices for their well-being. In addition, the central government has introduced Ayushman Bharat, which provides up to rupees 5 lakhs per family per year as hospitalization charges. This has improved the quality of life for rural people in India. Children are vulnerable to malnutrition, stunting, and pneumonia, and many die. Demographic and epidemiological research has concluded that the poor economic status of households, poor nutritional status of mothers, large family size, and child marriages have resulted in great risks to the health of the mothers. To ameliorate the problems of women, the central government has initiated Poshan Abhiyan. The importance of nutrition for children and pregnant women is looked after by the ASHA workers, ANN and AWWS. The Swachh Bharat mission introduced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi ensures that human life is cleaner, healthier and dignified. The central government's initiative has resulted in more than 8.59 lakh individual households being provided with toilets. This has resulted in open defecation being eradicated to a large extent. Women in rural areas with self-help groups have contributed significantly to the cleanliness of villages. The Rural Development Ministry has introduced several measures through the National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, including household toilets, soaking pits, liquid biocompost recharge kits, toilets in schools, Anganwadis, and village drain water conservation works, culminating in ecological balance. The old concept of the village in India has changed by way of the construction of rural roads, working gas connections, provisions of food grains, free of cost, and digital transactions. Another reform introduced by the central government earlier was an amendment to the Essential Commodities Act 1955. The introduction of Agricultural Produce Marketing Committee, otherwise known as APMC jurisdiction, and laws on interstate trading. These reforms ensured a better process for farmers and improved their livelihood. These reforms, when clubbed with digitalization led by e-commerce, would benefit rural farmers. E-commerce can solve problems such as high levels of fragmentation in the supply chain, reduce costs, and empower consumers to negotiate better prices for their produce. This would help the farmers gain access to capital for adopting technology suitable for enhancing agricultural practices. Rural industries in India are characterized by the diversity, such as agro-processing industries that produce goods like processed foods, spices and oils, handicrafts and artisan goods that include textiles, pottery, woodwork and jewelry. Small manufacturing units like machinery and equipment, renewable energy devices, solar panels and biomass cook stoves. The products of these industries also have a presence in the international market, contributing to India's export earnings. Despite their potential, rural industries are facing significant challenges. They have limited access to electricity, transportation, and market connectivity. Difficulty accessing credit facility limits the capacity for growth. Small-scale rural industries struggle to compete with manufacturers domestically and globally. There is a need for continuous skill upgrading and training to keep pace with market demands and technological advancements. The government has provided e-commerce and digital platforms that provide rural industries with broader market access. There is a growing ecosystem supporting rural startups, particularly in agro-based industries and technology-driven services. Government policies have ensured continuous support in the form of subsidies, training, and marketing assistance that go to bolster the growth of rural industries. Indian rural industries are a crucial component of the nation's economy and have the potential to foster economic development, reduce poverty, and mitigate rural-urban migration. By addressing the challenges through targeted policies, encouraging innovation, and leveraging technology, these industries can achieve sustainable growth and promise prosperity and enhanced livelihoods for a vast majority of the people in the countryside. The PEMEGP scheme of the central government has been instrumental in setting up a significant number of micro enterprises across rural India, generating employment for over 1 million people. Mudra loans amounting to several lakh crores have been given to micro and small enterprises since their inception. The Indian e-commerce sector is expected to shoot up to $200 billion by 2026 from $38.5 billion as of 2017, offering a large market for rural industries. The Indian agrarian economy is presently at crossroads, facing challenges of sustainability, productivity, and profitability. However, with government reforms and technological innovations, there is a promising path that can ensure the long-term prosperity of the rural economy.
Dear listeners, you have just heard Sri V. Mohan Rao speaking on the topic Indian Rural Economy at Crossroads. This talk came to you from the studios of Akashvani Mangaluru.